where to start, the next step, how to go forward, goals, direction. So much of that stuff comes rattling in our head, and if we keep analysing it, thinking it, we go into a bit of burnout, overload. Headaches even come about, and depression can come about. It's all too much. I really can't understand which way I should go, what I should do, how to handle a situation.
Hi humans, and welcome along to Mind Detoxing, a channel that follows the life journey of John, an aircraft engineer in a past lifetime, and now a dedicated kinesiologist. Over the past 30 years, John has developed a truly unique, individualized mind-body healing technique that really forms the heart of the show. Throughout our time together here, we will explore the different modalities of healing. We dive deep with guest interviews, quick fine-tune episodes, and we even explore the world of sailing, if that floats your boat. From wherever in the world you have joined from today, welcome along.
Hi humans, welcome along to another Mind Detoxing. Today we're going to dive deeply into a very interesting subject. It's a bit like a chess game. What is the next move? How often are we caught up in life's dramas, all the things that happen to us at work, relationships, and we come to a point, what is the next move? Which way should I go? Should I go left? Should I go right? Decisions to make. And that's where we're going to go deep into how the intuition starts to kick in, rather than using a logical, practical mind. Quite often we're taught we've got to logically work it out, analytically work it out. Yes, this is part of the process. We've got a logical mind there to help us along on our journey, but also we need to learn to understand, listen to our intuition. Now, the intuition is a very interesting thing, and it comes in a bit of a funny guise. We've got to understand our intuition is not necessarily that other voice in our head. That could be our ego coming in. But we've got to be in a bit of a relaxed state to understand our intuition. Now, with regards to playing a game of chess, how many moves can you think ahead? How can you connect with that other person and work out what his game plan is, what he's deciding to do? Now, both opponents in a game of chess, they're looking at to win the situation. But in life, it works a little bit differently. It's not necessarily about winning. It's about moving out of that competition game and raising our awareness and consciousness. So if we've got big decisions to make in life, should I go this way, should I go that way, let's pull that apart. Which way to go with a decision? It could be a decision, as I said, with a relationship, with work, where to start, the next step, how to go forward, goals, direction. So much of that stuff comes rattling in our head, and if we keep analysing it, thinking it, we go into a bit of burnout, overload. Headaches even come about, and depression can come about. It's all too much. I really can't understand which way I should go, what I should do, how to handle a situation. Now, I can't tell you what way to go with your personal situation, and this might help you, give you the tools to help you work that out. So it's trusting the intuition. First of all, for our intuition to come through, we've got to be reasonably enlightened. If we're on a path where it's just logical, practical, and it's got to make sense, well, then you're pretty much not in your intuitive state. So to get into the intuitive state, we've got to put the mind in a relaxing phase. If you're under pressure and under tension and you have to make a decision very quickly, well, good luck with your intuition coming through. intuition needs to be more in a quietened state. That's where we've got to get down to planet Earth, get grounded, get with, so the messages start coming through. Right, so let's say, for instance, we've relaxed and we found we can't process that information. We've got to look into it more intuitively. So the next move, yes, the next move can come in all different ways. It can come through a feeling. It can come through a little whisper. It could be just something all of a sudden you see on YouTube or somewhere. It could be a message coming from a friend that just gives you a call. And in that call, you pick something up. And wow, that's something to go with. But you've got to be in a calm, relaxed state to pick those messages up. There's that little intuitive voice that comes in, and you've got to differentiate between the logical, practical voice or the desperate voice to make a decision, and that little quiet awareness voice. And it can be very subtle, and it can become just in a feeling. Hey, that feels good. So what we can do is picture a direction you would like to go or a step you would like to make. Picture what that feels like. And if you're going, oh my God, that feels nervous. Yeah, it could be. But how does it feel inside you? Does it give you a little bit of excitement of stepping into something new rather than going down the same old path, repeating the same old stuff where you feel comfortable? This also can be stepping out of your comfort zone to try something new. And that could be scary for some people. But that's the way we learn and grow. There'll be lessons in that. And it can be worse than not making a decision. Quite often the decisions are very similar. Should I go this way or go that way? They both sound very much the same. And there's probably not a great deal of difference in going that direction or going the other direction. Quite often a direction that you should be going down, you're meant to be going down, it's your higher self saying to go down that way, it usually becomes a bit crisper and a bit clearer. You might have to wait a little while, and that could be a day, a week, 2 weeks, who knows how long, to get yourself in a nice relaxed state so you can make a decision. With relationships, especially breakups, quite often people are looking for the rebound. I've got to get back in a relationship. I don't feel good about myself unless I'm in a relationship. And the rebound situation comes about. Instead of processing, relaxing, and releasing the old relationship, learning the lessons that you need to have to learn from that relationship. Once we start to understand the lessons, then we can go about forgiving. That could mean forgiving that partner, forgiving ourselves. This is all about loving oneself, moving self-love up to a higher level in ourselves. So if we don't love ourselves 100%, we are moving in a direction that is out of inadequacy. In other words, if our cup isn't full with love, it's very hard to pour from a half-empty cup. Once our cup is full of love, once we have a beautiful amount of self-love for ourselves, then we can make easier decisions and go forward with that. Back to the analogy of a game of chess, which move to make. Sometimes we're going to find out what we are not to find out what we are. And that could be with relationships, work, direction to go. If we find out what we are not, well, that's a beautiful little learning curve. It's sometimes making mistakes to get the proper outcome. A lot of inventors, so many trials and error till they get what they really desire, what they're looking for. And who knows how many times that might have to happen for you to find out what you are not. sometimes going forward, we've got to sacrifice a few things. And that could be sacrifice a bit of time to learn certain lessons. And it could be, okay, I'll do this job because I need the dollars coming in, but this is my goals and this is my direction. In the meantime, I've got to eat, sleep, find accommodation, pay bills. So a job might be a very helpful thing to get you down your track until you are all prepared to go forward with that new decision. Sometimes it might sound like a bit of a fill-in, but it's about you preparing yourself, being at the right frequency and resonance to step forward, to make that right decision. If you're still resonating with a lot of past traumas, things from your childhood, things from the past, it's going to be very difficult to make that next step forward. Quite often we've got to complete stuff in the past. Might be just an apology to somebody, might be forgiving somebody, might be forgiving yourself. But learn the lessons that we had to learn. And once we've done that, forgiveness can take place much easier. If you don't understand the lesson you were supposed to learn in that relationship, that job, well, it's very difficult to move forward on that. Once you've fully processed that, you can move forward. It's reference to a game of chess. You've got pawns in these chess games, and they cannot go backwards. They can only go forward. And sometimes they get sacrificed along the way as they go forward for the bigger plan. So the knight can come out, so the bishop can come out. The king is a bit of a slow mover on the board, and quite often the queen can do a lot of damage, a lot of infrastructure on the board, but the king is usually the wise one, and one step at a time, but he's got to have everything set up around him so he can win the game. And even sometimes when we can see a checkmate coming up, or we see there's no way out, sometimes a bit of space and a bit of quiet time and a bit of breathing, we can see the next step, the next move, the next time. We have to move something to move beyond that situation. Don't expect to rush forward at a great rate. When everything's going good, yes, then when you can make the miles, make the strides, when you got everything in place.
Thank you, humans. You have been listening to Mind Detoxing, hosted by John of the Millennium, produced and co-hosted by Jessie Clayton, and special notes of love and gratitude to the beautiful talents of Jeffrey for the musical intro and outro of this podcast. Tune back in soon.